we have two guests with us today. Our first guest from Elevate Games, Elevate Gaming, Team Elevate, whatever, is going to be Faeles. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. It's just Elevate, by the way.
Is Elevate? All right.
Just Elevate.
You live and learn.
I suffered with that when I was making the roster lineup. When I was like making the graphic for it, I was just like, it was at one point Team Elevate, and I think at one point it was Elevate Gaming. It's just like I have no idea.
Yeah.
It switches.
Just Elevate.
All right. So, first off, before we go any further, like, how do we pronounce your name here? I know that was our first question from Gore.
However you want, like it doesn't matter.
No,
I remember in like Challenger Circuit, like every single time we saw your name, like I just remember hearing someone else say like Faeles, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds good enough to me. Like just Faeles, like Fails, easy enough to pronounce it. And then LHS says it a little differently than I do, and we had no idea how to really lock that down.
Yeah. So we're just gonna say it like 50 different ways. Okay, so you already heard our second guest. So joining us for the whole duration of the show, not just for the interview, is Mr. F. Dot himself. F. Dot, how you doing?
Yeah. What's up, guys? It's me. Hi. You might know me from some shows like the Smite Pro League. I've done things with them. I still do things with them. Can I right away just dive in real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, Faeles, it's your own name. I assume we can't swear. It's your own
can fucking swear.
Take control of your fucking brand. Take control and tell people how to pronounce it. Otherwise, you wind up like Vetium, Vitium, Sweatium.
I mean, at this point, it's Faeles, Feels. You know, casual players call it everything at this point.
But a lot of
Feels
people,
is 100%.
like, so a lot of people are in my position where, so with some of the more established players, you can kind of just like, all right, word. I know you. Let me ask you straight up. How do I say your name? You kind of you really grinded to the top. You took a long time. So when we see these like Challenger Cup players and these players coming up, we don't talk to them. So we just assume, and then we say your name, and now you're here. Like, tell us how to say your name, man.
I mean, it was originally Faeles, but I mean, the casters have just called me Faeles, and it's kind of stuck, I guess.
We can change it to Faeles if you want.
But hey, everyone calls
have
me
the
Faeles
power.
now,
Yeah,
so
they
it's
have
fine.
the power.
I mean, it's fine. Like Faeles is fine.
I just want to say that I was on point. I connected. I got it. So just wanted to throw that out there.
As long as it's not fucking jungler, I think we're okay.
Could be Midler.
I'm Midler.
All right, so let's get started with this interview already. Faeles, how have you enjoyed or not enjoyed season 4 so far? What are your thoughts, just blanketly on that? I guess that's like a really good, easy softball question to start with.
Jungling is a lot more fun than it was in season 3. It's not as stale. You can literally pick anything, even like mage junglers, which we've seen come out from other players.
So you're telling us that Chang'e jungler is like a real thing?
Yeah. It is. Like, early game, it's not as strong, but you do get pressure in lane and mid. But when you get, like, a couple items online and you start ganking with Chang'e, it's actually OP.
All right. So far, I mean, we saw a lot of changes to the map. We saw changes to Bumbus come out, and then changes again come out. What has been like your favorite change of season 4? Maybe as a whole for Conquest, or like the balance changes, or like maybe and then specifically like as a jungler.
I'd say oracles. Oracles are something that you can actually fight around, and if you have control of them, then you can usually get an easy gold fury and set up baits.
Yeah, I mean, obviously oracles are key for the vision game right there. I mean, you guys, when fighting around there, obviously the earlier you get it, the more vision you get. And what are you doing as far as like, are you trying to set up baits around there to go ahead and get the other team out of position? Or like, what's your gameplay when you're at oracles? Like, obviously you want to get both from the best you can.
Yeah, I mean, usually you'd have a sentry ward there anyway, because it doesn't spot like their wards, for example. But usually you would just be baiting in. But the XP and gold you actually get from it's actually something to look at as well.
I mean, other than that, like, what about on the other side of the map? You have the elementals, or the gremlins, whatever you want to call them. The next to the fire giant portal demon junior dude, as Scott likes to call it, whatever his name is. Those are obviously key contentions as well. Do you find yourself as a jungler split among having to be like, oh crap, LEs are up or oracles are up?
Usually, you'd prioritize the Ellies and have either your mid and duo lane go for oracles if they can. Even if they're just getting one of them, it's totally fine. But with elementals, you usually only want to get the 2 small ones unless you're 3-man splitting or 2-man splitting, because the big one's really tanky early on.
So kind of veering this away from the map and the just kind of general jungle thing, but looking more towards your transition, because I mean, me and Freight a little bit more than me because he was on EU last split in Challengers Cup, and at the time we saw you play a ton, right? And at the time I remember like we'd watch you, this guy's good, he's going to be able to kind of push forward. The team you were on was doing well. How's that transition been into the SPL, Ben?
Well, I've kind of flirted with the SPL and Challengers a lot. I mean, I've been in it on 3 different teams, and I've been on Elevate twice. So with the current team, it's better, I think. I mean, I'm enjoying myself. The team's enjoying themselves, and we're doing okay, I guess.
Well, you guys made that roster change. Obviously, I think that's the biggest thing in
Well,
you guys are also split central. You guys seem to be a second half team. You don't necessarily, which I think is amazing because you're able to. It seems like you learn so quickly. Game 1, bam, that's the homework I had to do. We make our adjustments in game 2, and we're able to actually get a victory.
Yeah, it's at the moment it's just more getting used to playing with each other and figuring out what we're doing wrong in the games. But taking games off the better teams in EU is really good for us, I think.
I think that's been the big thing is when you look at it, because I think yesterday we were kind of talking about the scores and looking forward towards like relegations and things like that, but we were looking at your team and we were like, the wins they have, all the splits is like they were splitting with Obey, with Dig, with Valence, like they are splitting with the big names in EU right now. And like I think this week you have some matches that honestly, when I looked at them, I was just like, those should be easy for them at this point because they've gotten so much like practice against these bigger names.
Yeah, we have Sanguine and Cyclone this week, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
we're confident we can get every win this week, but you never know with EU.
Yeah, so I want to go. One of my favorite games I watched, and like the game where I kind of knew you guys were for real, was that NRG set. And watching that, I saw a lot of potential with you guys. How much of a confidence booster was it to take NRG to the limit? And really, I mean, the only thing that really held you guys back was like a little bit of the farming stuff. Like, what did you guys learn and take away from your matchup with NRG and like take forward? Because I mean, you guys went from that and you guys went like on a tear. Like you guys are split central. You split with Obey. You guys have done amazingly. But like looking at the NRG set, it's kind of like that was your turning point.
Well, after the energy set, we did make the roster change, which I think was the biggest change for us because it went from being us playing and kind of enjoying ourselves and like trolling, I guess, a bit to actually performing well and not tilting.
Yeah. What was the let me pipe up real quick and ask you a question about that roster change. Where did that conversation start? Like, I know a number of you guys were a part of it, but who was the first one to be like, maybe we should do something about this?
It was kind of after like Mo got tilted in one of the scrims, which he used to do a lot, and me, Jermaine, and Dad were kind of getting sick of it and decided it was probably best to actually change things. But they've been playing with him for so long, and he's not a bad player, but it's just his attitude wasn't the best.
And I feel like that's, I mean, that was, like making that transition in, like, has the kind of player environment since the change, like, has the team environment, I mean, kind of been boosted? Like, everyone, you said, is kind of taking it a little bit more seriously. Are you guys more into the split and, like, more into getting as best as you can?
Yeah, we're actually taking most scrims seriously. Like, you have the odd one where you're gonna joke around, have fun, because you have to kind of release some of the stress from playing. But everything's a lot more enjoyable, and we're performing a lot better. So,
God damn it, Freight. I hate you. I hate you so much right now. He's fucking putting a shoe on his goddamn head.
Just keep going. I'm doing what chat wants. I got this.
God.
Oh no.
God. So yeah, obviously the 2 roster changes were really big. Adding Nalissa. I kind of ran out of steam right there.
He lost. FreightTrain puts a shoe on his head. Show goes off.
Yeah, I just
it's the FreightTrain effect. It's okay.
You made the 2 changes. You added Nalissa and you added no numbers, right?
Yeah.
Which would one of those changes have been like the more significant change, or were they both, equally significant for you guys as a whole? Like, was one of those kind of like the linchpin change that really solidified where you guys were and, kind of brought you to the next level, or did they both kind of just really up your guys' game?
I mean, they were both good changes for us, but numbers is probably like the most significant one just because of Mogar's attitude. And numbers doesn't tilt really. And if he does, it's not like giving up in the game.
Okay. So going forward, you guys right now are sitting at the bottom with Sanguine, just because of the sheer, like, the way the point system works with, you guys have had a lot of splits, but you haven't really found those wins yet. So going into this last week, hopefully you guys can find those wins and kind of really escape the relegation process. You guys have really shown that you don't belong in that relegation pool. I mean, maybe you guys will get lucky. Sanguine will pull out another Geb jungle game.
Wow.
That physically hurt me.
Yeah, I can.
Well, I know.
Just see F.Dot's face right now.
F.Dot, we'll get to that in like when we talk to you 1-on-1, but I had to bring that up. I couldn't.
What's your random jungle pick while we're going randomly as far as like that goes? Now I'm just curious. Now that got brought up, like what's your Geb jungle?
Yeah. Tell us what elevates secret strat in the jungle is.
No, it's not a secret strat, but like what's your fun god that you'll casually play? That he's not gonna bust it out. He's not gonna play it. Like,
I mean, something I'm not gonna play, but I think's good is Huyi, just because you can literally triple bounce every camp in the game.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense.
Yeah, I know Freight and I, we did a lot of practice like going into the season 4 on, the PTS, and like we were very favorably looking at Huyi because of that triple bounce, and just like playing off of comps with that was like really interesting. And it's funny you say like the hunter. We haven't seen like a hunter jungle in the SPL, at least so far this season, right?
In challengers, we see it in Repicas. Breaks out a lot for New Game Plus. Repicas enjoys using the Uller jungle. So they flex Uller jungle a lot. They'll grab it like second or third in their draft. And you don't really know if it's going to Game Hunter or Repicas, and then they end up grabbing that second hunter. So that's kind of been their little strategy that they've been doing.
We did see adapting play Anher as well again, like last week, was it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we did see that.
The Lion King didn't work out though for him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but still, Anher's kind of viable, I think, as well.
Yeah. So one of we know you didn't really watch the patch notes today, but one big change to take away from that is the change to Nemesis. And I know we all hear Weekend really rejoicing in the background. So with this change to Nemesis, is this a big buff? Is it like a change? Like what really changes here for this?
All I hear in the back of my head is allied imitation of Weekend going Nemesis. Yeah. But the change allows you to not only auto attack cancel, but say you dash in and you're in danger, you can shield and then dash again. So it's just a little bit more outplay potential.
So are we going to see, is Nemesis going to be a more favorable pick coming up?
I don't think that puts her like towards the top of junglers you can pick, but if you get past her really bad early game, especially clearing back camps, then she is pretty strong, especially into stuff like Zhong still. It's always going to be a good counter to that.
So Season 4 especially, we've seen the early aggression, the early team comps are really the ones that have really started to shine. That was one of our biggest complaints with NRG, or not complaints, but I guess one of the things that we noticed was like they were still doing like Season 3 late game comps that you kind of really have to turtle and baby early on in order to get to the point where you can win games, and that just didn't work. Is that something that's still holding true as the season progresses, or like is the focus on getting gods that are good in that early game?
You can still get away with a couple late game picks, like Hunter, for example, or say
Mhm.
like an Amaterasu, even though she's actually pretty strong early game as well. But the thing is, if you lose pressure in mid, then you lose your speed buff and then your blue buff. And if you contest, then you die, and it just puts you so far behind unless you can make something of it, such as invading the red or anything like that.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Gore, it looks like you want to say something.
Well, something kind of clicked in my head about this matchup that was coming up this week, and I know this is kind of turning it back a little bit, but you're going up against Sanguine, and of course, I mean, they're 0-10, I think, right now. They're still looking to be, I mean, maybe a contender in some of the matchups they might have. Like, I'm looking mainly against Rival, but for you specifically, I feel like you might have a little bit of an insight because you've played with Mr. Stefan, because that was like on Circa back then. Like,
Yeah.
do you think like having, I guess, like that history with him, like, do you know his mid style, so you think you can jungle against him a little bit better because of that?
I mean, you can know the other people's god pools, but other than that, there's not really much you can like tell from other players. Like at this level, you switch it up so much that usually you're unpredictable in a way, apart from certain god picks.
Like his Vulcan.
Like his Vulcan, yeah.
Which is like the staple.
Staple pick for sure, yeah, all day. Yeah, I mean, F-Dot, what do you, I mean?
Yeah, I
you're
was
big
just
guy,
about to say,
man.
F-Dot, you got
F-Dot,
what other
like,
questions you got
go
for
ahead.
him? You obviously asked like the best question out of all of us so far.
Well, I asked. I asked how he said his name. I asked,
Yes, that was the question I was referring to.
No, actually, well, if we're gonna pat each other on our backs, I want to give you credit for the transitioning into the SPL question. I thought that was a very salient point to bring up. But, Mr. Faeles,
Yes.
how you doing today, bud?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm tired, but I'm good. I can't complain.
Oh yeah, that's right. What is it? Oh well, daylight saving. It's between 1 and 3 a.m. for you, isn't it?
No, it's midnight.
God,
Missed it by that
Knowing your
much.
time zones, idiot.
I was close. I went forward instead of back. I mean, I don't even know how it works in America, let alone over there.
Yeah, I just know I change my cell phone just changes, and all of a sudden I'm tired. I'm like, oh, what happened?
I'm a watch guy, so I have to do it myself. I can't afford any perpetual
Yeah, you
calendars.
fucking
But
pleb
still,
freight.
Yeah, that's me. But so Faeles, actually, serious question. One, have you been to America before?
Yes. I was
Word.
at the Challenger LAN. I don't think we spoke, but I was there.
I'm upset that you didn't say hello to me, first of all. I consider myself a longtime fan of yours. And you did not introduce yourself. I'm upset about that. But how excited are you to come to play at LAN this time around?
Well, hopefully it's more games than it was then, and it's obviously longer, so it's nice. Hopefully I get to actually explore a little bit and go to different places with the team, etc. Meet
Yeah,
every
go to the
player.
aquarium, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
get to meet all the NA and other EU teams, so it's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things when everybody gets to hang out. We get to go to cool aquariums, and there's a nice dinner spot called Magic City. You can check out if you want to see that. But otherwise, though, jokes aside, because we're kind of having fun here, but jokes aside, how confident are you in your team? Because a lot of times, you can kind of just sort of look at the standings and be like, well, top team's good, bottom team blows. But I think Elevator are a perfect example of a team that we say things like sports media says things like rebuilding season and project team a lot, where Elevate were the quintessential definition of that. And in one split, y'all have turned it around and now are relatively a strong contender. How confident are you in your team's abilities to actually succeed?
It's a lot better than it was. We played, I think, 2 games before we made the roster swaps, and we lost 2-0 to Energy and split with Lion Guard. So if we had the roster at the start, we most likely could have contended for top 3 and maybe even top 2. But yeah, I'm confident with them. I mean, I trust them. But they trust my calls and stuff like that. So it's going well, and
Hell yeah.
should be going well for the LAN.
Yeah, I think.
Well,
Go ahead,
yeah,
Freight.
go ahead, LHS. Yeah, no, yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah, I think you guys have definitely done a lot of great things. Like I said, I cited that NRG game where everybody was like, "Oh, NRG did what they were gonna do," and I was like, "No, you guys don't understand. Like, Elevate showed up. Like, this is Elevate. This is their turning point. This is the game. The only problem, like I said earlier, is that like you guys had those early kills. You guys had that early pressure, and then NRG did what they always do, and they just took advantage of every little chink and just fought their way back. But from then, I mean, how did it feel to split with Obey?
It was definitely good. Like, I know Prime was lagging a bit, but even Nate said it wasn't the reason they lost. Like, we just actually showed up on the day, I guess, and played better than they did, I guess.
All right. Well, Gore, Freight, F. You guys got any last questions for Mr. Faeles here?
Well, I mean, last week I asked Find OK a really serious question, and I'm gonna ask.
God damn it, Freight! I swear to God.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Power Ranger, and why is it the White Ranger / Green Ranger?
I don't even remember Power Rangers, man. Come on.
Oh, wow, that was.
I've not been watching it on Twitch. I don't remember it from when I was a
How
child.
old are you?
Oh man, it's all good.
How old am I? 18.
You're 18.
Yeah.
All right,
Is that all
so
you're gonna ask? Like,
No,
everyone got really quiet right there.
he's so young. No, yeah.
All right.
We were all
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
taking it.
Yeah,
It's
just like,
damn,
wow.
This 18-year-old is better at Smite than me. Shit.
I mean, that's y'all stance. I mean, you guys understand that, like, I ain't ever growing up. When somebody's like, yeah, I'm 18, I'm like, oh, word, you're near my age. And I'm like, shit, I'm like 27. All right,
Yeah.
never mind.
All right. So, Faeles, I guess this is your moment. You have a soapbox you to stand on. You got any shout-outs you want to make? Anything you want to say to our audience? You have the floor.
a shout out to the team, the organization, and I guess the high-res, because they actually do everything for the LAN, and most other games don't. So it's great that you get an opportunity like something like that. And I have a rank 10 Bakasura after, and he's actually pretty good. So
Do I get to kick this guy out of the stream?
Yeah,
You can,
so
yeah.
I think with that, for safety's sake, we're gonna get Faeles out of here. So
Wait, Fails, before you go, I heard that you've been streaming lately. Where can people find you, both on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube? Where can people follow you?
twitch.tv/FailesTV and twitter.com/ElevateFails.
Perfect. Thank you very much.